Aries, if desire asks for confirmation, slow down. Maybe it wants a choice. The cleanest move is this. Know exactly where a seductive invitation ends and where your own decision begins. The sun moving through the desire, creativity, pleasure sector asks for clean exposure. Less backstory, more visible action. This is the kind of contact that cannot be read only with your heart on fire. It has to be read with your spine straight too. Desire does not need to be shut down today, but directed. A seductive invitation is worth reading closely only when it does not ask you to betray yourself to keep it near. The danger is letting the thrill steer first and discovering later that your dignity paid the real price. For Aries, the day rewards speed without automation. The cost is giving away your presence before you know whether the scene truly deserves it. Move. Make the choice that protects both your heart and your boundary, not just one of them. Listen again when a romantic line feels easier than a truthful one. Taurus. The day is not asking for theatrical courage. It is asking for a verifiable act. This is not just a rude. A clarification that wants a gesture is entering your day through body, choice, and position. Mars lights up the words exchanges nearby environment field. Action is needed, but it has to be guided before impulse takes over. This is the scene where you realize the block needs less thinking and more movement. For Taurus, calm becomes a trap when staying still costs more than choosing. The block keeps looking bigger as long as you speak to it from a distance. The moment you touch a clarification that wants a gesture, its authority shrinks. The stakes are about using pressure to decide, not to build a more elegant version of delay. If you do not touch the necessary move today, tomorrow may demand less energy for the same choice. Move. Send the reply, close the loop, or change the operating pace. One action, but an irreversible one. Use it as a clean cut before the mind opens more exits. Gemini. The useful care today is not gentle out of weakness. It is precise enough to survive pressure. You do not need to solve the whole story. You need to cross the minimum threshold that this already visible fatigue is placing in front of you. The sun is lighting up the words exchanges nearby environment field. What was once secondary now wants center stage and responsibility. It is an inner room that is too full, where the right move is not to push harder, but to remove friction. The soft choice today is not escape. An already visible threshold of fatigue gives you back clarity before pressure decides for you. For Gemini, clarity only matters if it comes down from the mind and takes a concrete direction. The right shelter does not weaken you. It keeps you from wasting strength in the wrong place. If you keep sacrificing that tired part, clarity will pay the price before results do. Move. Remove the gesture that drains you before adding one that makes you feel competent. Listen again before forcing a part that is asking for measure. Cancer. If a value that still has no clear measure stays unmeasured, someone will use your silence as a discount. It looks like a practical request dressed up as a favor. If you do not measure it, it takes more space than you expected. Keep the scene tight. This is where a value without a measure loses its ambiguity. Venus makes the resources money value axis more sensitive. The point is not to want more, but to choose better. The practical issue today is not coldness. It's the place where an unmeasured value shows how much room you give before you even speak. For Cancer, today asks for tenderness with structure, not unlimited availability. If the true cost stays implicit, the day often chooses the price that suits others first. If that cost stays hidden, it does not vanish. It simply moves from the number to your availability. Move. Name the cost, the time, or the limit the moment the discomfort starts to rise. Write down the cost before it turns into habit. Leo. For Leo, recovery today is not escape. It is maintenance of clarity. The key is not to do more. It is to touch an energy reserve worth protecting at the point that affects everything else. With the sun active, the identity-body presence axis becomes a mirror. The real issue shows up in the way you present yourself. It is an inner room that is too full, where the right move is not to push harder, but to remove friction. Shelter only works if it becomes action. An energy reserve worth protecting needs real space, not just a promise. For Leo, the day rewards you if you stay whole, without turning everything into a test of presence. The real loss today would be spending good clarity to rescue urgencies that are not all yours. If you keep forcing that tired part, the price can show up as the wrong tone, an impulsive reply, or fatigue taking the wheel. Move, cut one non-essential demand, and give that margin back to the part that has to stay clear. Listen again when guilt tries to make you pay for the rest you actually need. Virgo. If attention asking for a clean action tightens, maybe it is not asking for patience. Maybe it is asking for a move. Today, the boundary is not a shutdown. It is the shape that stops that tension from taking over everything. Mars compresses the timing in the intimacy shared resources transformation field. The right move frees, the automatic one burns margin. This is the point where the day does not hand you the whole problem, only the first piece you can actually move. Today, the energy does not want a generic outlet. It wants the necessary move to stop occupying space without paying a price. The concrete stakes are about turning pressure into direction before it becomes pure consumption. For Virgo, detail only helps if it is not being used to delay the necessary move. The risk is calling a polished blockage calm. It makes no noise, but it keeps you in the same place. Move. Choose the gesture that lowers the noise, and do it without 3 explanations. Mark it before you choose the elegant version of standing still again. Libra. Today, the sky does not reward waiting for certainty. It rewards giving shape to the first move. The signal is not loud. It shows in the way a practical decision to make changes your posture, tone, or rhythm. The sun's light on the identity-body presence axis is unforgiving. It shows where you are leading and where you are only yielding. It is the scene where you realize the block needs less thinking and more gesture. The real strength today is moving one actual piece, not building another explanation around it. For Libra, useful peace does not leave a practical decision hanging in the vague. If you do not touch the real not now, tomorrow you may have less energy and the same problem. Delaying may look clean, but it gives more weight to the version of you that avoids. Move. Do the thing that lowers noise and ambiguity right away, even if it does not make you look perfect. Send it to the person who needs a move today, not a speech. Scorpio. Today, the shadow does not put on a show. It hides inside the sentence you keep repeating to yourself. First image. A real point that has been covered too well enters the scene without asking permission, and the rest of the day has to respond. With the sun on the career role public direction axis, what looked secondary now carries authority and asks for an adult answer. The more noble you make the distance sound, the more that real point proves it is still there, steering you. It may be an emotional or practical detail that feels irritating only because it touches a defense that has become habit. For Scorpio, the day rewards you if you name the naked point before building a strategy around it. If you do not name the fear, it will still find a way to right the day. The risk is staying on the side of the alibi and letting fear organize the day for you. Move. Do not react from the wound. Choose the boundary that still looks clean tomorrow. Keep it close. Certain defenses lose their glamour the moment they are named and dated. Sagittarius. There is a narrow window for Sagittarius. Wait too long, and it turns into noise. The proof is small. What changes when a small but real door stops being just a conversation? With Jupiter widening the vision travel study axis, the point is not to have more. It is to know what truly deserves space. This is the scene where you feel something can actually move, but only if you stop waiting for an aesthetically perfect guarantee. If it stays only a detail, a small but real door loses force. If it enters the choice now, it gains direction. For Sagittarius, vision only works today if it accepts the boundary that makes it usable. The risk is not a big failure. It is letting a good margin slip away, because waiting still looks respectable. If you leave the useful signal without a gesture, the opportunity stays an idea and loses body. Move. Answer the opening with a small act, not a grand theory. Mark it before the mind turns a concrete passage into an interesting theory.
Capricorn. Today the price is not only financial, it is how much room you let others have over the decision. The knot is not huge, but it is precise. A measure no one has named yet decides how clear you stay in the scene. Here, Venus does more than soften. In the intimacy shared resources transformation field, it shows what you want and what you must not undersell. This is practical and may seem technical, but it actually measures your ability to give value shape. Value becomes real when a measure no one has named yet stops being atmosphere and becomes a declared measure. Today, the real loss is not seeming rigid. It is giving away value before you have even named it. For Capricorn, useful discipline is not about enduring forever. It is about choosing better. The real loss is looking agreeable while you are simply giving away measure without ever discussing it. Move. Ask for the figure, the measure, or the detail before offering emotional availability as an advance. Come back here before offering generosity out of politeness to something that actually needs measure, price, or a boundary. Aquarius. Today, love does not reward the performance. It rewards the truthful sentence. In an empty room, only 3 things remain: a distance that says more than words, your boundary, and what keeps knocking. The sun activates the relationships, agreements, confrontation field. The day shows where you are giving presence and where you are only running on habit. It is the scene where someone looks at you, writes to you, or provokes you, and you realize whether you want truth or quick relief. This is not generic romance. A distance that says more than words measures how well you can stay whole while something moves you. The stake is simple. Do not let yourself be chosen only because you are afraid of being unseen. If that contact moves you but does not protect you, the bill can arrive as confusion, dependency, or compromised dignity. Move. If the contact is real, you can afford clean slowness. If it cannot hold, you will see it immediately. Listen again before giving your presence to someone who only wants a reaction. Pisces. Today, care is not generic sweetness. It is a practical choice. You do not need a collapse to understand it. A body that no longer wants to negotiate can shift the whole day in silence. Venus makes the work method health area a test of measure. Pleasure works only if it does not erase respect. The tired part is not sabotaging you. Inside a body that no longer wants to negotiate, it is trying to keep the day from draining you past your limit. For Pisces, the risk is sensing the truth clearly and still leaving it shapeless out of too much softness. The stake is not spending all your energy to keep alive a form that does not deserve that much consumption. If you keep denying space to the tired part, the day may work on the outside and empty you on the inside. Move if you feel the limit. Honor it immediately with a practical act instead of pushing it to evening. Come back here before answering from the part of you that is already past the limit.